Have you ever been just completely drowning in stuff to do, but the very thought of asking someone for help feels impossible? Almost like it's a sign you failed somehow. Well, if you're nodding along right now, trust me, you are not alone. Today, we're going to get into the psychology of hyperindependence, a survival instinct that, honestly, can end up doing a lot more harm than good. So here's our game plan. We'll start by figuring out what hyperindependence really is. Then we'll dig into its roots, which are often in trauma. After that, we'll look at the signs, uncover the hidden costs, and most importantly, we'll chart a course toward healing and real connection.
All right, first things first. What are we actually talking about when we say hyper-independence? Because this goes way beyond just being a self-starter. We're talking about a deep, almost fierce refusal to rely on anybody else.
Let me just ask you this straight up. Do you hate asking for help? I mean, does it make your skin crawl? Does the idea of depending on someone, even for something tiny, fill you with this sense of dread? Like you're weak for even thinking it? If that hits home, then yeah, this one's for you. Okay, so here's the textbook definition. Hyperindependence is an extreme form of self-reliance. And the key part here is that it sticks around even when it's actively hurting you, when it's leading to burnout, isolation, and just total exhaustion. And like we're going to see, it's almost always got its roots in past trauma. And this is such a critical distinction to make. Look, healthy independence is great. It means you're capable, but you also get that we're stronger together, that support and collaboration are assets. Hyperindependence, though, it's this rigid all-or-nothing mentality where needing anyone for anything feels like a complete and total failure. So where in the world does this intense need to do everything alone come from? It's so important to understand this is not some kind of personality flaw. It's a learned response to a world that at some point probably felt really, really unsafe. And this right here, this is the core of it. For people who are hyper-independent, this was never a conscious choice. It was a strategy you had to develop just to survive. Think of it like a shield, one you had to forge yourself to protect a part of you that felt incredibly vulnerable. So what kind of experiences forged that shield? Well, it often goes back to childhood. Things like neglect, or maybe your parents just weren't emotionally there for you. Or maybe you had to be the adult in the family way too soon. Or you just had caregivers who are inconsistent, unreliable. Experiences like these teach a really powerful and really painful lesson. I can only rely on myself. Okay, so we get the why behind it. Now let's talk about the what. How does this actually play out in real life? Well, it usually looks like a relentless repeating cycle. And here's that cycle in action. You're faced with a major challenge, a huge deadline at work, a crisis at home, you name it. Your gut reaction automatically is to push away any offer of help. Nope, I got it. So you suffer in silence, you feel totally isolated, and that snowballs into complete overwhelm and burnout. And then the next challenge comes along, and the whole thing just starts all over again. Man, it's exhausting just looking at it. And what's the soundtrack to that whole cycle? It's this phrase right here. I just don't want to be a burden. But what's really underneath that statement is this deep, deep fear that your needs are too much for other people and that asking for anything at all will just push them away. Which brings us to a really crucial point, the hidden cost. Because on the surface, being the person who can handle everything might look like a sign of incredible strength, but underneath it takes a serious, serious toll. There's this massive gap between the perception and the reality. The story you tell yourself is, I am strong and capable, but the reality is chronic stress and exhaustion. You think, I am not a burden, but the reality is this profound, deep-seated loneliness. You believe, I am in complete control, but that control makes it almost impossible to form close, intimate bonds. You tell yourself, I'm safe from disappointment, but you've built the walls so high that you've also blocked your ability to receive care and love. The very shield that was meant to protect you ends up becoming a prison. So what do? I mean, how do you even start to break that cycle? Well, this last part is all about hope. It's about how to move from that place of isolation toward healthy, real connection. And this is probably the most important idea to grasp. The goal here is not to become dependent. It's not about losing your strength or your capabilities. It's about adding a new skill to your toolbox, the ability to connect with people, to collaborate, to actually let others in. It is about gaining, not losing. So, how do you start? Here are a few concrete steps. First, start ridiculously small. Like asking someone, "Can you pass the salt?" is a perfect, low stakes way to practice. Next, just practice receiving. Someone gives you a compliment, instead of brushing it off, just say thank you. Try to really identify the genuinely safe and trustworthy people in your life. And try this reframe. You aren't asking for help, you are allowing someone the gift of helping you. It's a huge shift. And of course, working with a therapist can be absolutely life-changing in healing those original wounds.
So I'm going to leave you with this to think about. Moving away from hyperindependence, it isn't some giant, terrifying leap. It's just a series of small, really brave steps. So just consider it. What is one small, low-stakes request you can make of someone you trust this week? Because that one tiny act, it could be the very beginning of a whole new way of being in the world.